Hello and welcome to AorbTech. Today we're going to discuss another session about Pandas series, and in this session we'll briefly discuss about merging function. So agenda of today's session. First, we'll see the definition of merging function and try to understand how it's work. Then we'll understand the parameter that will pass inside the merging function. For example, left right. After that we'll work on, and then we'll see a different method such as inner outer, then indicator. After that we'll work on index, and last we'll see suffix. Now we'll see the definition of merging function and try to understand how it's work. So merging function is basically helping us to combine two different data frame based on the common column. So if I show you the visual representations, let's say that this one is our first data frame and this one is our second data frame, and we have a common color is yellow, for example common column, and we combine or merge based on those common color here. So as you can see, yellow one, and we have a data frame 1 and we have a data frame 2. So we combine based on the common column two different data frame. So I hope it's clear for you. Now let's move our practical part and let's see how it's work. First we need to import our library. Import as pandas as pd. After that I create a two different frames. So basically I create pd.data frame, like creating a data frame, then I take two column id and a class, and we have a four rows. So let me show you our first data frame here. As you can see that a very simple data frame, id and class. In class we have a b c d, and id we have integers value. In the second data frame we create id 1 2 3 4, and we create another column which is section. So this is my second data frame. Now the task is that to understand how merging function is work, how we can combine these two data frame in a practical. So let's see. So let's say that I'm going to combine, so I can combine pd dot, let me move to a practical part. For that I need to go to Python. So pd dot merge, and I'm going to pass parameter. Let's say that I wanted to create df1 df2, and I close the bracket and I will show you. Perfect. So we basically merge our two data frame df1 and df2, and if you see the results, we combine basically these two data frame based on the common column which is id. As you can see that id we have a both common column 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. You can take df1 into left and df2 into right, or you can just change the position. Let's say that I'm going to in left df2, and in right I'm going to take a df1. The result will be section will be first and the class will be the second. So I hope it's clear for you. Now we need to understand the rest of parameter. Here by default it's merge based on id. What happen if we pass a different we merge based on a different column? So we'll try to understand how it's work. So pd dot merge data frame 1 data frame 2 based on id. So as I mentioned that by default here we merge our data frame based on id, and We also specify here like merge these two data frame based on ID. What happen if we merge these two data frame based on class? So if I run, it will throw me a error, key error, which is class. Why is giving me error instead of merging these two data frame? Because if we see our data frame df1 and df2, we don't have any common column. If we see the class, we have only class in data frame 1, but we don't have in df2. That's why we are get here key error. If we see the definitions that I show you, a visual representation, the definition telling us that it's combined based on the common column. So if we don't have common column, it will not merge the data frame and it will give the error that you see here, key error. So yeah, that's how on is work. Now we'll explore more about merging and what happen if we have a common column ID but we have a different items in ID. How it will work, let's see. So we have a data frame 1, we have ID and class, similar data frame, we have 1 2 3 4, and we create in the data frame similar like ID and sections, and we have 1 2 3 5. Here we have 1 2 3 4, and here we have 1 2 3 5. So 4 and 5 are different in each IDs respective to data frame 1 and data frames 2. So now let's see how we can combine. So for example, we combine pd dot merge data frame 1 comma data frame 2 based on ID, and if we see the results, we see a common between data frame 1 and data frame 2, which is ID 1 2 and 3. We're not getting results for 4 and 5. So by default it's basically merge based on a common item. Now we'll move on our next topic, which is how is a parameter that will pass inside merge, and there is a different method of how. First one is inner, take common only. The second one is basically outer, take all either is common or not. The third one is right, it take only a right column. The last one is left, it take only left column. So we'll discuss one by one, and let's say that we first take the example of inner, and I'm going to show you the, let me go to Python, and if I show you my data frame 1, this is my data frame 2, just to recall what was our data frame 1 and data frame 2. So first we will use inner method. So we will combine pd dot merge, and we have to specify df1 df2 is equal to ID, and how the parameter that will pass how is equal to inner. So if I run, it will combine my these two data frame based on ID. The method that I use is inner. So if I see the definition, take common only. So whatever we have a common in these two data frame, which is of course we take ID, and common item is 1 2 3 1 2 3. So that's why it's show me the results based on a common only. Now we'll move to another example, which is outer, and let me change to markdown to make heading. So outer is the same way. That'll pass inside inner. Here we just pass outer. Let me change to Python as well here, because we need to run this code. So outer, and if I show you the results, so the outer is basically take all, outer is common or not. So we have all items here in the ID, because in data frame 1 we have 1 2 3 4, and data frame 2 we have 1 2 3 and 5. So it's basically take all and it's combined. Now we see the data frame 1 we have 1 2 3 4, that's why we get A B C D, but we don't have fifth ID in data frame 1, that's why it's showing me none. Same in data frame 2, we don't have fourth ID, but we have fifth ID, that's why in fourth ID it's showing me a none. So that's how outer is work. Now we'll move to a next, which is a left. Let's see how the left is work. So take this example. So instead of outer, I will pass left, and let me change to Python. So the left is basically based on the left ID of data frame 1. So in df1 we have 1 2 3 4 and class A B C D. So this was our data frame 1. So it's basically combined based on the left data frame, but as we know that in right we don't have fifth ID or like fourth ID, that's why it's showing me unknown. So if I show you a right method, and let me change it to my markdown to make a heading first. So if I show you my right here instead of left, it will combine the data frame based on the left. So as you can see that, so it's merge our data frame based on the ID of our left data frame, which is df2. So we in df2 we already know that, if I show you quickly, 1 2 3 5. So we have 1 2 3 5, and it's showing me x1 x2 x3 x4, but in data frame 1 we don't have fifth ID, that's why it's showing me on hand. I hope it's clear for you. Now just a quick revisions. How is another parameter that we pass inside merge, and there is a different method inner. Basically we combine based on the common only, and we see the example here. We have a common only 1 2 3, that's why it's print my results. Outer is basically taking all, either is common or not, so it's taking all, like for example 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4 and 5. So that's why it's take 1 2 3 4 5. Left is basically combined based on the left data frame, and right is basically combined based on the right data frame. Now we are moved to our next topic, which is indicator. Indicator, it tell how file are merged according to how operation. So it basically create a extra column, and in extra column it show us the way that how operation is work. So let me show you with the same example in the right that we see here. So let me change to Python, and if I pass my indicator and I tell us that's true, and if I run, it will create a extra column which is underscore merge, and it tell us that how the data frame are merged. So in id1 it showed that both, in id2 both, id3 both, but in id5 based on right only. So if I show you based on outer example, let's say that, and if I run, so first three is a common, that's why it show me a merge based on both, but in fourth it create a value left only. So basically it's indicating that in our fourth id we have left, and in the fifth we have right only. So it's just an indicator, and it's telling us how data set or data file are merged based on the whole, like inner, outer, left or right only. So now we'll explore further about merge. Let's see if we have a case, and the case is we have a two data frame 1 and data frame 2. We have a common id, but inside id we don't have a common element. So how we can combine these two data frame? So pd dot merge df1 df2 based on id, as you can see that it show nothing because we don't have a common item. To tackle this issue or to combine this data frame, we have such case. We use left index and right index, and we return true. So this is basically another parameter. What will happen? So it will make a different id by default with the name of idx and idy. So let's see how we can use this one. So pd dot merge df1 df2, we don't need to pass third parameter on is equal to id. Instead of that we just pass left index is equal to true, left index is equal to true, right index is equal to 2, and here you get the results. So we basically combine these two data frame by creating different IDs. So we have idx. Based on idx we combine the data frame 1, and based on data frame 2 we create dy, and we create these two data frames. So by default it's x and y. You can change the name by using suffix. So suffix is basically you basically pass another parameter and you giving the name of respective id. For example, you wanted to change id x with id1 and id underscore y with id2. So how you can do that? Simply you pass another parameter here, and let me change to Python first, and you passing another parameter here which is basically suffix, and instead of I'm going to take right left, I just take 1 and 2, and if I run, you have to pass the value in string actually to make sure. So here you can see the results. Either you just take maybe underscore so here as well. So we basically change the name of id1, id2, and we combine these two data frame based on a different item inside the id. So just a quick recap: if we don't have a common item in the common columns, so to merge this kind of problem, or you merge this kind of data frame, you basically pass left index is equal to true and right index is equal to true. It will create extra id and it will combine these two data frame. You can change the name by using suffix, and you can pass the value. You can pass any string value there and it will return the results. That was the end of this episode. If you want to the source code, you can visit our website, and where you can find our GitHub link. You can download the source code where you can practice of this episode. If you like this video, please subscribe our channel for future video about pandas, machine learning, AI, and we'll see you next time.